used to follow a bunch of other people. That's when SoundCloud first came out. Everybody's like, "Oh, follow me on SoundCloud." Okay, I follow you.
Yeah. We live.
Yes, sir.
Yo.
That's how we do. We just press record abruptly on motherfuckers.
That's rude.
It's the Fantasy and Color
It's
podcast.
a drop on the nigga.
I'm Rob Ayala.
I'm Kadeem Phillip.
Today we have a very special guest. If you've been listening, he was actually a a surprise call-in. One of our first and one and only call-ins.
So far.
Good friend, Fantasy and Color affiliated artist for almost since just about the beginning. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Kiari Chapman, y'all.
I get a
And honorable mention, we got Christy Ayala. She's always lurking in the back. Lulu, this is not her episode. She just got down.
Of course.
I didn't even want to mention her name. Oh, she's on Kyrie. This motherfucker's the dog whisperer. This nigga got Scooby snacks in his pocket.
He sprinkled something on just on the nose.
Alright, listen, this is not about her, please. Don't let her deflect. You coming over here to me? Get out of here. Hey.
See, you just said let's not mention.
Alright, let's not do it. Kiari Chapman, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
We want to get into the shits with you because we really pissed off with you. We're annoyed with you.
Highly.
It's all right.
But before we do that, we want to give you a fair chance.
I got other friends.
Exactly.
Just in case.
They're not here to help you right now. Sean Baker. Too bad.
He might not help me in this situation either, though.
Yeah.
More than likely won't.
But we're going to give you a fair chance before we get at you.
All right.
Because when we have people on the show for the first time, we want them to tell our guests. Give us a brief history. Brief, because you a long-winded motherfucker too. Brief history of your introduction to art and bring us to where we are now today.
So, it is. I talk a lot. Yes, I do. But this is really easy.
Okay.
I've been drawing, coloring, like we all have since we was kids.
Yeah.
My earliest memory is Voltron. Actually, drawing Voltron, cutting it out, bringing it to pre-K.
That's an 80s cartoon for anybody listening, just in case that one of anybody.
They got the new one out now, and I'm still with it. But
Oh, there is? There's a new
There's a
Voltron?
new one.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Oh, so y'all know who Voltron is then?
Anybody
All right.
from any generation should know Voltron.
Got it.
Yeah.
We're good.
So that's my earliest really understanding. Like I really like this. Like,
Okay.
Drawing Voltron, like literally cutting it out. The blue lion was my favorite lion, and I would cut that out, make a little hole in it, tie a little string on it, and fly it around the house.
So I'm not as much of a nerd as y'all. If Voltron is better than Transformers?
Definitely.
Okay, I don't even want to know about it. y'all too into it. Keep going.
Like, what kind of question is that?
Keep going.
Let's not get cartoon animated. Okay.
No. Keep going.
But nah, so that, like I said, that was like kindergarten, pre-K,
Right.
first grade. I remember that.
Okay.
And then elementary school, just like art class was the favorite class to be in, and I never stopped drawing.
And this is art class where? Where you from?
Harlem. I went to elementary school, second grade to junior high
Always
school.
ask people, west side or east side, it matters.
East Harlem.
All right.
East Harlem.
We love you anyway.
So but I was born in Harlem. I was born in Harlem Hospital.
You heard of Harlem. That's not like that.
Harlem.
That's just Harlem shit. But yeah.
Yeah, if y'all from Harlem, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. West Harlem.
I was born in.
Just chill, Brooklyn.
We got a lot of pride up here.
So what? This is elementary. What school's this?
Elementary
Let's
school.
shout it out.
All right, so in kindergarten and first grade, I was in West Harlem. That was like right across the street from the projects I grew up in. If y'all from Harlem, Forster, non-Harlem people was King Towers.
Okay.
Right?
He doesn't know.
Yeah, it's all right.
It's like Adam Clayton Powell on 7th Avenue.
Gotcha.
Douglas
Once you said
Boulevard.
that, I was like, okay.
Oh, Marcus Garvey and Mount Morris Park. If y'all from Harlem, from a certain time, it was always Marcus Garvey Park. Anyway, that was like early on, second grade. It was East Harlem. Went to PS 108 East Harlem,
Okay.
and from there, like I just really took art more seriously, had more fun with it. Stealing paper from my mom. My mom used to work for the city, so she used to bring home paper.
Alright.
So I used to steal her paper and draw on it. She used to yell at me.
That's a federal offense, but
It was blank papers.
okay.
So I'm trying.
I didn't know what type of papers you talking about.
It might be the statue
It was
of
blank
limitations.
paper. It was the blank
Okay.
papers. Nothing, no unofficial documentation. Anyway, then transitioned to junior high school. I went to a specialized junior high school. Was for arts. It was the name of it was
You forgot? It's been that long?
It was. I'm old, B. Manhattan West.
What was
Manhattan
that?
East. Sorry, Manhattan East.
Manhattan East. You heard of that, man? Well, that shit was a real specialized school.
Once you go past Lower East Side, high school, I ain't know nothing.
Where was that at?
This how specialized it was. So y'all know how y'all look at schools now, and then you got one big school building.
Yeah.
And it's like 15 schools in one building.
Oh.
So back then, the junior high school I went into, they only occupied part of a floor in another high school.
So you went to a floor?
I went to a floor. I didn't even go to a whole school. We had to share the gym, the auditorium, the cafeteria. We when I went there, 7th grade, we only had 2 classes. It was that new, but it was set up so that if
You said cafeteria, and this is a tangent, but I have to go there. I don't know if you could fuck with us. I hate to always ask a question if you could fuck with us, because you're not that younger than us and shit. You're not like he's fucking 19. But speaking of lunch, do y'all remember spoon fights?
Yes.
Spork fights?
yes, but I was saying spork fights. Yeah.
You gotta hope that your joystick.
Let's talk certified real school lunch shit.
Right.
Yeah.
What's your best school lunch? I'm a fish and cheese nigga all day.
Fish and cheese?
day.
Beef patty.
Don't say fish and cheese like it's trash. That was popping.
No, it
pizza
wasn't.
was popping too though. Fish and cheese is popping. Fish and cheese wasn't popping.
Man, I wasn't fish.
Chris, you like fish and cheese?
Yes.
I
hated the fish. I hated the fish.
I didn't like the
Oh,
fish.
that niggas is whack. So what y'all like? Pizza day.
Friends, welcome
Who don't
for
like pizza
dinner.
though?
Pizza day was always the shit.
Oh, tater tots.
I was a burger.
Pizza day.
Like, with the-
You was a burger nigga?
Yeah.
Yo, I'll give you a high five on the
Yeah.
back.
Burger was the shit.
shit, bro.
I'm gonna see if y'all remember. The regular plain burger was silver with purple writing.
Yeah.
And the cheeseburger was silver with orange or yellow
Yeah,
kind of
it was
writing on
mostly
it.
like
Wait,
Right?
You got them in packages?
You got it in packages, nigga. You ain't
Hell
you
no,
2 years older.
nah, B, let me nah.
Nah, yes
It
it
didn't come in
did.
packages.
Yes it did.
No, it didn't come in
Came in
packages.
like a little package with the
Nigga, you're 2 years older than me. Yes it
It
did.
didn't come in packages. We used to get the patties, and the patties would still have like fresh off the grill. They had like the grease, the grease.
You don't remember the burgers in the silver packages?
That was way later, B. That was way later. I was in high school by the time I seen packages.
You was still in school after high school?
They did
Nah,
give you
I
rough
was.
sometimes. So they give you some rough times.
Nah, we
Wait. In elementary school, I remember the
Elementary
silver.
school.
You're right. That might have been high school with the silver.
elementary
joint.
school.
I mean, then damn, maybe that's
Elementary school.
So your favorite was what? Pizza day?
Pizza, cheeseburgers.
Now let's see how old school you are. You probably remember the round pizza with the pepperonis,
Yeah.
right? You don't remember the Italian bread joint,
Italian
right?
bread. The
That was
surfboards.
just as I was going to school. So
All right.
It was there like that long.
Remember, yeah, you-
that long ass
80.
time. It was stiff. Like the bread was kind of
Yeah, it
stiff.
was.
And it was like
That wasn't stiff. That shit was good.
That
Nah,
shit
if
That
Pause.
was like that.
Pause.
yo, it depends.
But nah. But seriously, pizza day was the shit. But the round joints was the best joint.
Nah, the round
Round
joints,
joints
it
is
started
the best.
transitioning in when I was on my way.
Hold on, wait. Y'all didn't like fish and cheese?
Nah.
With the cheese
What's wrong with
infused in the.
that?
No.
That was some nasty shit. How did they get the cheese in that
That's
fish?
the reason why
Right,
I hated it.
it's-
I ate it because
Oh, you ate it.
See, my
You gotta eat-
experience.
Oh, what was the
I
worst?
hate
Wait, hold on. I'm gonna fuck your head
yo,
up.
the chicken was the worst to me.
Oh wait, the
Yeah.
the fried
They
chicken.
always
Ew, the chicken legs. Ew, that was rat legs.
It was never cooked.
It
No.
was never cooked. It looked like they just boiled it and threw it at you.
This is a mean tangent, y'all, but ride with us for a minute. Cause listen, you know what's the worst shit in the world? It was good, but it choked you. The fucking peanut butter and jelly.
Oh,
And the saran wrap.
On chicken days, that's what I was eating.
The three
Peanut butter
joints.
jelly is
Yeah, exactly. I'm chicken it.
Yo, three
Remember?
layers, yo.
hated them
joints.
shits, man.
Yeah, I love them.
You need mad milk. I was always an extra milk nigga too. Extra chocolate
Me too.
milk.
Extra chocolate milk.
You know what's funny?
From your favorite lunch lady?
I honestly didn't drink milk.
Oh, you didn't like chocolate?
You ain't quiet.
Niggas got dead quiet like, what?
No, because
We started getting mad judgmental. Like you like
Niggas, you crazy?
What's wrong with
so like you we're kind of like that's a whole different level. Like,
Monster are you?
exactly. You all lactose intolerant, can't have what kind of person
I
are
kid you
you?
not, like I've never used real milk for anything.
You know what was gross, but I like too? The hot dogs, pause, with the beans.
Oh no, yeah, that was good. Those are good days.
With the sauerkraut. Did they have sauerkraut?
Sauerkraut, yeah,
I
sauerkraut,
hate
yeah.
those. I hate
The
sauerkraut.
beans, that's good.
The smell of sauerkraut is fucks me up. From
Nah.
Honestly,
I hated
Those was gross.
I remember
those
the
just
day
change
just-
colors. They just have different colors. Those just have like a bluish purple hue.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I hated
Oh,
that
but
shit.
let's talk. And this is certified fat nigga shit. So I appreciate y'all. That but you was a greedy nigga too.
Yeah,
Uncle D.
I am still.
So check it out. But how about breakfast, nigga? Remember the muffins?
Oh, yeah.
In the moist bag. Remember the donuts?
It come in bags, yo.
It did come in bags, nigga.
Nah.
It was the plastic bag.
Plastic bag.
I definitely had those.
And you open it.
This nigga act like he went to school in the 60s.
See, here's the thing for me though. I only went to breakfast sometimes.
But still, you know it existed.
We go and they get the corn muffins, the round corn muffins. They wasn't in bags.
That was that East Harlem shit.
It might have been, but it wasn't in bags.
In Brooklyn, he was fine. I don't know about this shit.
I went to PS one. I went to PS
It might have been a difference
West
of two. It might have been a difference of 2 or 3 years
West
that made
side.
all the difference. Something might have happened. Somebody might have ate.
Wait, you don't remember the donuts in the plastic bag? And the banana and the fucking
The
banana
donuts,
muffins?
I do remember. I remember the donuts.
And it used to be
in the
hot,
bag.
steamy, if it was done right.
It was like orange.
Yeah.
It had an orange.
The donuts was in the bag.
Yeah.
The donuts was in the bag, but the corn muffins.
Not the
was-
corn
was
muffins,
open.
the banana joint.
Banana nut.
The banana nuts. Yeah.
Pause.
It's
Too
not.
many pauses.
Not yet, too many.
Pauses.
But the fucking banana nut.
I think I remember those. I might
Oh,
have
Kyrie told me he don't break his banana down when he eat in public.
Hell no.
He said fuck
No
that.
shame.
Let's talk about
In front of
that.
everybody.
He said he deep throats that shit.
Oh, no shame.
You're supposed to eat it like you eating cashews. Remember? Shit on Instagram.
I
Exactly.
definitely took one from work. I was just like, break.
Okay.
I was just like, it's like natural in me.
I
Break.
never noticed
Break.
that.
It's
Look
like,
at Kyrie biting up the peel off with his mouth.
Straight gorilla style, like what?
Alright, let's get back onto
No shame.
let's go back into art. So let's take it to high school now. So you still
So my high school started in junior high school. So I went to the art specialized joint, and we was picking out high schools to go to. I had 3 choices to pick out, and it was all specialized joints.
Okay.
So the school, my junior high school, set us up to be able to pass the specialized exams for all those schools. It was art design, fashion industries. LaGuardia was my top choice.
okay, but you didn't get in?
Yo, I'm still waiting for LaGuardia to call me back.
I had to try out for art design.
Yeah, I took a test for all of them.
So where'd you end up going?
I ended up going to fashion industries.
All right.
I got accepted to art design for the architecture program. And I'm like, yo, buildings ain't cool. I don't want to draw buildings.
Yeah.
And fashion industries had like a regular art program. I didn't want to do fashion. I wanted to do art.
Yeah.
I ended up, long story short, ended up choosing fashion industries, and that's where like the bulk of my real art education was at. Like
Okay.
I had some dope art teachers in high school. They really prepared me for a lot of stuff I do now. It's
So you would say most of what you do is from things that you were taught?
Yeah, most of
So
it.
you consider yourself not a self-taught artist then? You consider
I'm definitely
yourself-
not.
Like I'm a self-taught artist. So
Yeah, like
compared
both
to me.
of us.
And Kadeem too.
You both like more fun.
No, I definitely have more of a traditional. Like I went to school to learn how to use certain tools.
Okay. Because I don't know anything. Like as far as like tools.
Yeah, in high school I learned how to use a lot of tools, and it just.
So I mean, and that sounds bad when I say I don't know anything.
Yeah.
I just meant like as far as like I learn what I know by learning it and shit. As far
Yeah.
as like I
It's
didn't
funny
get.
though because it's like
You have like fundamentals.
Yeah.
it's funny because when I think about that time, I was a kid that was still into art. Like I did my first art gallery at 13.
Wow.
So it was like with someone was just like the art teacher.
Oh, yeah, you
in
told
high
me
school.
that,
Yeah,
yeah.
he liked my work. He was like, I want to put this up somewhere, like Marcus Garvey,
Yeah.
and he did.
In Brooklyn, right?
Yeah, in Brooklyn when I was 13.
There's always a Marcus Garvey
And-
something somewhere.
Of course.
Right next to Martin Luther King.
Exactly. And he put it up, and my mom loved it. My mom wanted me to fully pursue art. She actually that's why she's always been
Yeah.
support because from
So
then-
you've been knowing you wanted to do art since 13 in a sense.
right, but I think it was that I tried out for those schools.
Yeah.
And every time I tried out, I failed.
Okay.
And it, like now that I'm thinking about it, it really was like I stopped because that failure, that feeling was just
No,
like they
it's-
told me
it's-
I wasn't up to par for what they would
Okay.
look like for
For some of the
art
same schools that he
So-
art and
applied.
design,
Oh, okay.
Those are the
fashion
schools.
industries. I applied for.
But you got into fashion industries.
I got into
Okay.
fashion. I went to fashion. I got
And
into
I-
art design, and I got into fashion, and that's why I decided to go. But those art tests was legit. Like you really had to know art. It wasn't
Yeah.
like, do you like to draw? It was like, no, do you know how to execute this particular task?
Mm-hmm.
It was real specific. For the architecture program, I remember in art and design, my junior high school prepared me so that I can do well on the exams.
Okay.
That's crazy.
You couldn't just enjoy art. You had to know what you was doing.
It's funny because as he's saying it, like I'm thinking back to myself too, and that was the thing. Like I was so not ready for
Yeah.
it because I just like to draw because I loved it.
Yeah.
I didn't really want to. It didn't like I didn't take it serious. Like that.
And honestly, that attitude for me is like, no, if you really doing this, you gotta take this serious. It's a serious skill. You gotta know how to do this stuff. When I got officially, I ain't rejected. I'm telling you right now, I ain't rejected from LaGuardia. So I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting. They didn't tell me no. They said we'll put you on the wait list. Anyway, that means no. But they told me
Because they still waiting.
on the side, and I can tell you, even as prepared as I thought I was, when I got there, my mom took me to it was right across the street from King.
Yeah.
So we waiting on the King side to go in. This long ass line that wrapped around the block. I thought I was prepared because I loved art and I was listening to my art teachers in junior high school. But my portfolio was a homemade portfolio. Y'all know that material oak tag?
Yeah.
I made a portfolio out of oak tag, like literally strings, and tied it up and had my art pieces in there. And when I got to the portfolio review, they had 2 days worth of portfolio review for LaGuardia. I went on I can't remember if it was a Saturday or Sunday. Anyway.
Yeah, they always had Saturdays and Sundays. Can I apply for them too?
So everybody had real portfolios, like the leather bound joints.
Yeah.
And
You had the makeshift joint.
I had to make. If you had the low end joints, was the you remember that brownish cardboard joints?
Yeah.
Those was the low end joints. I said, "Mom, look what everybody got. I'm not ready."
Yeah.
Yeah, boy, don't matter about that. People, everybody not doing this like they supposed to. And I'm like, I don't know, Mom. Look, they look ready.
Yeah.
I ain't seen none of their work.
Wow.
I just seen
the
their portfolios.
Presentation.
They was ready.
It's crazy to me because I was one of those kids where my mom got me the leathers, got me like she would take the extra money to get me because she wanted me to go to art schools to push me.
So he had that, but the
And
work
then
wasn't.
You're right.
Yeah.
So they didn't like me because of my work. So it was like when I would be dejected, and my mom was like, "You're still gonna be great. You're still gonna be good." And it's so crazy because I didn't. From when that happened, I stopped drawing to 20.
Wow.
But you don't think you didn't get in because you didn't have the portfolio, right? I mean, you didn't have a leather portfolio, right?
So no. I think that might have been a little bit of bias to it, but what happened, like I said, so many kids. You competing against not a few hundred, thousands of kids.
Yeah.
So if you're not,
They
you
can't
only
pick
accepting
everybody.
a couple hundred. So
Yeah.
so
It's
um,
hard. That's
it
like
was hard.
that's the thing I think teaches artists. Sometimes that rejection is not a bad thing.
No, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I learned that
Once
early
you
on.
learn it, once you don't take it personal, it's
Yeah.
like trying to learn.
But that's just like a life
hard
lesson
not to be
too. I don't even
personal.
know if that's just artists. That's rejection
It
is a part of life.
But I think for people who have a passion for something,
Yeah.
there's a difference when you get told no and you don't have a passion for it, and when you get told no but you love it.
Because you do take it seriously. Like I learned rejection and criticism, constructive criticism. In junior high school prepped me for like the attitude I'm supposed to have when it comes to art.
Okay.
And so when they told me no, and they told me like they just highlighted a few things. I didn't have enough color in my pieces. I didn't do enough examples of figures or landscape. Something like
Yeah.
There's a few things missing. They didn't say my work was bad. It was just some
They just had
elements
critiques.
missing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get your work as bad. It's just they tell you that there's a few pieces missing. You need more of this. So I still wasn't rejected
Right.
to this point. We're just still waiting. I'll come back and work
It's
for
funny
y'all.
because I think about it like because I don't know if you also did like these specialized stuff for art. I don't know if you've done that yourself. But it's funny when I hear me and his stories because it's the opposite for me. It was the fact my uncles and stuff when I learned how to draw, they would do graphic art. So I was learning how to sculpt the body and do stuff like that at a young age. But it was the fact they would be like the colors is just too. Is what I still do in my art now.
Colorful
the
and shit.
vibrant,
Vibrant,
colorful stuff. It was like it's a little. You have to tone that down.
Wow.
And I was told to tone my stuff down a lot.
Wow.
Even when it was like when I first started painting and I met people that did stuff like scope and stuff, they would tell me like,
Well, that's crazy because the exact opposite probably would have got you in.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people will always shy away from, and it's funny because my mom, she wasn't not supportive of me doing art, but it wasn't like, let me spend more money on a sketchbook, let me spend more money on these. Just keep doing what you're doing and don't make a mess.
Yeah.
Right? And I always push myself. We had a couple of kids in school that would when drawing was still cool, but then when drawing stopped being cool, I had to push myself. I had to do more for myself and by myself. With school and outside of school, you try to challenge yourself to do like comic book covers. That was always a challenge, right?
Okay.
Try to copy what you saw in a comic book. First, some people would trace it, like, yo, look what I did. Like, come on, B, we could see you actually trace this.
Yeah.
And then you see somebody that's like, they didn't trace it because it's a little off. So challenging myself that way was a thing from junior high school to high school. And then, after high school, I did a year and some change at Catherine Gibbs.
Why is always there some change, motherfucker? Yeah.
Because you don't do a year and a half. You do a year and some change.
Yeah.
Sound like a jail bid.
And where Catherine Gibbs?
Catherine Gibbs. So
That sound like a trade school for secretaries. Or something.
no, you said it sound like that's literally what it was.
It is, right?
Oh,
It
Yeah.
was.
Okay.
They don't
was.
exist no more.
They don't
So my
Catherine
plan
Gibbs.
was to
I want to
graduate.
go to that school.
That's one of them shits with the commercials that come on like in the daytime.
That's literally those. It's one of those. It's one of those trade schools that
They
hey,
do online courses.
sitting at home doing nothing.
Catherine Gibbs.
Come to this school. So Catherine Gibbs was like one of those early ones like that. It was a secretarial school. But how I ended up there. So when I graduated out of high school with an art diploma. I got a special seal and everything. I wanted to go to SVA. My other grades wasn't good enough.
Virginia?
No, School of Visual Arts is right there.
Oh, I thought
Durst
you said
Street.
VA.
He's at SC.
SVA, School of Visual Arts. So School of
Sound like
Visual
a Law
Arts
and
had
Order
like they do. They had the best at the time. They had the best animation program. That's
Okay.
what I wanted to get into. My grades wasn't good enough to get in. My art was good, but my other curriculum, my math and all my English stuff wasn't good enough. So I didn't make it in there. So the next choice was like Pratt and Parsons. So Pratt and Parsons were the other choices. And then somebody said, "What do you think about Catherine Gibbs?" What's that? Oh, the school, they just started this art program. It's a graphic design art program. You can get your associates in 18 months. What? Why shouldn't I do this? Instead of going to school for 2 or 4 years,
Yeah.
I was trying to do it in 18 months.
Yeah.
Right.
I got there. The classes actually was pretty good. But the school setup was not good, and I was also working at the time. And this is kind of
Where's the school at?
Catherine Gibbs was right in Midtown. They had their first location was in the MetLife building at the time.
Oh, okay.
It was a Pan Am at the time. They switched over to MetLife on Grand Central. Then they had another.
Yeah.
They had this actual studio classes on 44th Street. Actual like art studio.
Okay.
It was in
So so through each stage you were
I was
getting taught art.
art school. Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, that's dope. Let's get into your painting career, but I really want to. I want to get into the shits with you. So let's speed it up,
shit.
brother.
Yeah.
Come on
So
with the
college,
flow.
you dropped out like the rest of us.
Right.
We all did a year and some change. Oh no, Kadeem has a degree. My bad.
Oh, you special.
But we all.
Yeah.
Christy did a year and some change, right? I did a year and some
I did
change.
before. Well, I did 5 years.
Yeah.
So go ahead. So take us to after that year and
So,
change.
I left school. The reason why I did a year and change because at the time my son was born in '99. I was going to school full time. I was going to work full time, and I was basically half-fasting through class. What made me decide to kind of not go no more? One of my art teachers, Mr. Eldiri. If you're out there, Mr. Eldiri, this is for you.
I'm sure he's listening to the Fantasy and Color podcast. You never know.
He found it somehow.
Now, Mr. Eldiri, he was the drawing teacher. He was the elements of design teacher, like regular art school stuff, right? So we get assignments, and through class, I was killing in the class. I show up killing in the class, and he give us assignments to come, take home assignments and come back and stuff, right? So I was working full time. I'm out there doing what I got to do. I would just do the bare minimum. You said the assignment was this, so I did this. I brought it home.
Yeah.
I might have brought it like the day of, the last
Just
day.
for skating by type
Just
shit.
skating by, right? Because I knew.
That's what I did in high school.
Yo, and I did that in high school too.
Yeah.
If
High
you,
school.
I'm the nicest at skating by.
if you tell me a curriculum and tell me what it is I'm supposed to do in advance, I'm gonna just stick to that
College.
and just.
You guys ever cheated on
right.
like tests and shit?
Oh, in college, how you think I got a degree?
I'm
Wow.
fucked.
I agree.
Honestly,
Take
I'm
your
a
shit
good
back.
test taker.
You never
wish them
cheated.
niggas was-
You hear this
I got
motherfucker?
it.
He's a good test taker. He never cheated on the test.
I never cheated.
Oh, I did both. I was good. I sleep through class. I wouldn't even have to cheat, and I still
Yo.
passed. But then I would just be like, I.
What's your
don't wanna
cheating
say.
skills, real quick?
Oh, I mean, I legit would. All right, rubber cement, label around a bottle, and I just write the answers.
Yeah, but that's way too
That's
elaborate.
way too.
Way too elaborate, B. That's
So you know what I would do? I would just literally write I would get a small piece of paper and I would write tiny as fuck as much as I could write on both sides. And then I always had sides to me, so I would use my sides to my advantage and like hover my body over the desk.
Oh, even when I used to set like
the paper and you know what I mean?
Nah,
I used to set like this precedent, like how I would take a test.
I've cheated in fucking professors' classes, like fucking.
I'm cheating in front of professors
shit.
Looking at me, just knowing.
Me too.
I wonder,
cheating.
they know you cheating, but you know what? They probably give you credit for the ingenuity you came with this cheating.
Yeah.
No,
I don't think they know. I mean,
Like
It
this
was
rubber
one
cement
time.
thing. That's you might as well just studied.
It didn't even take that long. Most of it was like the typed out story, like the type when they give you like outlines or type.
Okay, yeah.
I just reprint it and just do that. And just
let's not incriminate this nigga before they take his diploma back.
Oh, yeah,
I don't got shit to lose.
Is that Kadeem?
listen.
Yeah, we don't want them
What
looking you up.
has it guided me so far? Take it.
We don't
Take
want
my
them-
debt too. Take my debt too.
Take this degree, take the debt with it.
That'll be a good. That's a whole nother episode. We'll talk about that though. That's a good one. But look, let's fast forward. Bring us up to the day that we met. Like you started doing fantasy and color. Bring us up to that.
Left school, and
We got some shit to get into.
Left school.
This might end up being a two-parter.
Might be. Left school, just working in the field. I was doing personal training. I was working in corporate jobs. Everything other than art. But I never stopped doing it. You know, every now and again I'll do like...
On your own time, you mean?
On my own time, I'll do... every now and again I'll do flyers. People used to request like tattoo designs. I always kept drawing. I never stopped drawing. I always walked around with a sketchbook. Never not had a sketchbook, right? You know, if I have free time on a job, you know, I'm doing the whole pieces while I'm on some free time. Long story short, I never really stopped. I got laid off from a job. And laid off, and when you get laid off, you get unemployment. Unemployment, they send you to, the work program thing, so to make sure you're trying to get a job while you collect unemployment. Right. And I'm like, yo, I'm not taking the job they was offering me was all these retail jobs. I ain't one. I'm like, no, this is my history. This is my work history. I got a long work history. I just don't have a job right now. I got into, they sent me, I took some classes. The classes I took was business development and web design. That's why I met Evan.
Okay, Evan Bishop,
the OG. So he was teaching two classes. He was teaching business development, and he was teaching web design. And the business development was business. It was like using Microsoft programs.
Was Sean in that class too?
Nah, Sean did it like a year later or after me though.
Okay.
So that's when I met Evan, and then the web design sparked my creative juices.
Get back into the art.
Getting a little bit more back into it. And we kind of partnered that in the web design and the business development with doing it like actual business plan, like what would you do as a business? And the thing I wanted to do was web design and graphic design and stuff like that. Right. So I started getting my business attitude going with, well, I could probably do this.
Yeah.
Then I, picked up the art a little bit more and just started pushing myself a little bit more to just brush up on some old skills. Right. The funny thing is, I didn't paint. That was the last thing I liked doing in school. That was my least favorite thing to do at school was paint because it was messy.
Yeah.
Same.
It was messy. I didn't like the messiness of paint. Watercolors, acrylic, oil, gouache, whatever. I didn't like painting. I like more control with a pen and paper, pencil and paper. I'd even use crayons before I would use paint back then. Yeah. So I was trying to do some stuff on the side and try to make some extra money, and it didn't really work out. Just get back into the workforce, and I'm working. And the class was over. I think I ran into Evan maybe years after that point. Okay. And he was just like, yo, you need to hook up with his brother Rob. Rob who? And he's like, oh, Rob Ayali does this thing called Fantasy and Color at this spot on in Harlem. I'm like, oh, word? So he told me about it. He had did one show, and I missed that one show. And then another day I was coming from work, I came by. And I was like, yo.
This is late 2015, by the way.
This is what I need to be doing. Around the same time, my boy I was working with, shout out to South Speed, Mike Figueroa, South Speed. He told me about this joint at Lower East Side, the Delancey.
Yeah.
They was doing collage. I'm like, collage? He said, yo, Kyle, you need to go here because I know you're nice with the drawing and stuff. You should go here because they out there breakdancing and painting. I'm like, huh? How you do two of those together at the same time? You breakdancing and painting? He said, yeah, they might be doing lines in the bathroom, but still, you should go. I'm like,
that's some real artsy shit.
so I went and it was dope. It was like a bunch of artists just painting. It felt like school, as a matter of fact. And it wasn't art class. It was just art school. It had the art school feel.
Fun art school.
Yeah, fun art school because everybody's drinking and painting, and it was a dope vibe, and that took me off. That set me off to like I got to get back into this.
Yeah.
So like the next week, brought a canvas, brought an easel. I bought some book. Like it wasn't even a good easel. It was like the display easels, the little wooden joints.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I'm out of practice. I was like mad rusty.
Yeah.
I bought the cheapest brushes. I bought the cheapest paint.
Yeah.
I bought the cheapest everything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, all right, but the skills were still there.
Yeah.
I just,
You just had to fine tune them.
I just had to refine tune them, tweak everything a little bit. Went a few weeks. Then I started coming up with a few pieces on my own in the crib. And that's when I came the second time. And that's why I chopped it up either with you. It might have been you. And you was like, yeah. Just leave an email at the joint. And
That's Rob.
Yeah.
You had to leave your email at the joint. You know exactly what it was. There's no question.
Oh, y'all be beeping that?
Yeah, just leave your email at the joint. I said, okay, cool. So
Rob, we've been around you.
I follow up though. I mean,
nah, you did. No, you followed up.
It's just funny, you beeped that. We've been with you for a good 3 years.
I know y'all peep my leave the email after. I ain't know.
It's a pattern. It's something we noticed.
All right.
So long, to fast forward, I submitted my first piece, and it's been consistent since then.
Yeah.
Since then, I've been doing more painting and developing new ideas,
Painting
and concepts.
sips.
Painting sips. I'm instructing at painting sips. I'm doing art shows all the time. I'm out here trying to just be the artist, the full-time artist I was supposed to be 20 years ago.
Yeah. And briefly, because I now really want to get into it, but get into the with the design daydreams when y'all was that the same era when you were like doing more graphic stuff and not painting as much?
So, Design Daydreams came about is right after Sean had finished up with doing stuff for Evan Bishop.
Okay.
So he had the creative bug too, and he would come out with me to the Delancey too. He live painted a couple times. And he was like, "Yo, we should come up with a company."
Yeah.
Right? He's like, "Kyle, you know how to use Photoshop and Illustrator and stuff like that. You could come up with some cool stuff." And then we started just doing logos for people, and then we started the t-shirt business. Sean invested a whole bunch of money into equipment and materials, and we just started building from that point. It was actually more school for him, because a lot of stuff I had knew already. So like Sean paid for his own schooling in a big way to learn how to use Illustrator, Photoshop. We even messed with a Flash a little bit. Like I learned a lot of stuff in my year and some change at Catherine Gibbs. I did a tiny bit in high school. I tried and dabbled a little bit on my own. I never, like I said, I always kept my finger on it just a little bit, but I didn't really delve into it until later on. And that was pretty much it. But the concept was to come up with a t-shirt company, and the graphic design aspect was to pay for the t-shirt company.
Okay.
That was the business strategy. We'd do like the logos and illustrations, the commission stuff, so that it could help pay for the t-shirt business. A little bit more than it took more than we thought it was going to take, and it didn't work out exactly the way we want. It ain't dead.
Yeah, I got you.
It's kind of like,
need a pause in the action.
Yeah, a little pause in action, right? So,
and that's a lot of hard work as far as like creating logos for people, because people always want
the most intricate,
and then different change. You got to make changes. That's
the way I talk about what people want, any kind of commission job, right?
Yeah.
Y'all remember Aladdin, the cartoon Aladdin? Mm-hmm. So think of the genie, right?
Yeah.
So the genie was like, "Yo, I got all these semi-phenomenal cosmic powers, right? Mm-hmm. Trapped in any tiny little bit of bottle." Because people want you to be able to do. They want you. They'll hire you.
To do whatever they feel like is.
Yeah, they see the work you do. They see, yo, this work you do is amazing. Yeah. This is awesome. That pink pony you did with the head and the thing. The craziest things that they'll see, but when they ask you to do something, yo, can you just do this crazy red dot for me?
Right.
Yeah.
No, all I want is a red dot. But you want it to be like 3D dot? No, just a dot. and you like it's frustrating because you're like, well, you want me to.
Then why do you even want me to do that?
Commissions are something like I'm beginning to not want to do.
Yeah,
because it takes the creativity out of it.
Oh yeah, creativity.
It's like such a restraint because it's like, oh, but I like when you did. I want you to do this blue person, this again with this same thing, and if it's out of place, no, I need you to find. But I want to do it this way. That. My creativity is just me do it how I do it and not repeat it.
Exactly.
It's like,
but that's what those extra dollars will come in though. That's like, it's not the passion you have for the work, but it's that's when the technical skill of doing the work pays off.
That should sound like a haunted house.
But
so
that's
as far as your painting, right? Because I'm just trying to segue into the shit.
Come on, get into it, man.
How would you describe your painting style for people out there who might not know?
Here we go. My painting style.
Pardon me, y'all.
Here come the smoke.
Go ahead.
So, I describe my painting style as more of an illustrative style.
What does that mean?
So,
what does that mean? We have people out here that might not know what that means. What does that mean?
So, illustrative is definitely not realism, right? So
not realism.
It's not realism.
Remember that?
It's not realism.
Just remember that term. Okay, go ahead. Keep going.
It's not realism, right? Mm-hmm. So illustration is more of
fine details almost.
It depends.
So your work is not realism.
All right. So no, it's not.
Okay.
So an example of illustration is comic books,
right?
Graphic novels. Mm-hmm. That's an easy. Books actually. The books are the best examples of children's books, and graphic novels and comic books are the best examples of illustrations.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So illustration is like a snapshot of a story, mm-hmm. or a thought, or a conversation, or something like that. It's a snapshot. That if you think of an illustration,
I've always looked at it as like a painted photo. It's kind of like it's a photo or a moment capturizing a moment, just painted.
Yes and no. So the point of the illustration is, like, say if you're writing a story, right, and you're doing something that's so descriptive that you don't have the words to really elaborate what you're talking about. Or the words are too detailed, and you need to kind of dumb it down a little bit. You make a picture.
Right.
So instead of saying the cat ran across his feet as you look left, instead of writing those words, you have a picture for it.
All right, cut the shit.
Come on.
You've been.
I'm waiting, man. I'm waiting.
He's saying all these fucking words.
I'm waiting.
You've been stated.
Yo, my year and some change in college. I use.
We're not even talking about that year in college right now.
I use my college words.
I'm on something else. You have been on record.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
You got a tater chip right here. There you go.
Oh, that's how I was gonna get.
We're not on film, but I can't.
Already.
Exactly. You have been stated. You have been. I keep saying stated. You have been on record. Stating. Mine and I sucks. You called in. It was like it's such a potential. Mine and I sucks. But I always tell you this, and you tell me no, you don't. You do modern art, so that's hypocritical. You say modern art sucks, but you do modern art. Give everybody your Instagram real quick. Real quick.
At Kiari Chapman. That's at KAIRICHAPMAN.
So if you're listening, if you know him already, you already know it. So you don't have to.
If you don't know me, get to know me.
But if you don't know, check his Instagram out because he does modern art. Because what is your definition of modern art? Why don't you? What you do with modern art?
Yeah, so
because modern art is dead. You said that's a period that is over.
The period is over. Time for modern art is over. Oh God. So, and this is the art history stuff, and I'm not trying. I'm not going to geek out. I'm not going to geek out. I'm not going to geek out on it too much. Just a tiny bit, right? Go ahead. So you think of the word modern, you just break it down. It's a time period.
No, modern is just now.
Modern is current.
Yes.
Nah. What's the difference between modern, the word modern, and the word current?
Nothing.
What?
Because if you think about this, every word has 2 to 3, 4 different meanings, right?
Okay.
So some of them could go with what you say, like a time period, but it can also represent. I got the hand up.
I'm gonna do some Googling.
Go ahead.
It's like when you look at a word, sometimes it can have one meaning and it can have a secondary meaning. So it's like you can say modern represents a time period, but it could also represent now in time. It could be both definitions in both.
I got you.
So that's how I look at it.
I got an example for you.
Real quick, the definition of modern, relating to the present or recent times, as opposed to the remote past.
Right.
That's it.
Got it. Your phone.
Right.
Is that modern or current?
Modern.
It's the same shit.
Is it?
Yes.
Modern phones. A modern phone.
This is a modern phone. Yes,
Right.
this is a modern
Modern
phone.
phone.
Would you use a modern phone from 15 years ago?
No, that's
that's
retarded.
two different-
That's
that's two
stupid.
different
That makes no
arguments.
sense.
That's-
Wait,
that's
are
the
you
same-
trying to trick me with dumb shit? Hold on. You said because guess what? A phone from 15 years ago
Is it
isn't modern anymore. Thank you.
It is modern.
No, it's not.
No, it was modern then.
It was current then.
Right. But we're talking about when you talk to me about
some Back
my
to the Future
modern,
shit right
when you
now.
talk to me about, listen, you can think you that.
This is you gotta go right, left, then make a right, left.
But it's like that.
Right.
If you ask me what would be modern, my phone would be the modern thing. It wouldn't be the 1950 phone. You're
And not your phone exactly wouldn't be modern because this nigga got the iPhone too.
If you doing anything, if there's been an update and the thing you use, the thing you do, that update is now current. Once you have an update, the old version is not obsolete, but it's the old version.
But what are you talking about?
Anything.
I get what he's trying to say.
Anything.
So he's trying
wait,
to say.
hold on, wait,
I
real
don't.
quick. The TV is your current TV is modern, right?
Yes.
Until the new one comes out.
No.
Every TV is modern. Technically, every TV is modern.
This being a flat screen makes it modern.
But it's a television.
But it might not be the.
But it does the same exact thing.
No, because if we brought a boob to like a square box.
But what's the function of a TV? It sends a signal to the screen and you watch pictures on it.
No, we're going left. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
No,
Come on, I told you I don't need no team with me.
So let me get.
No, it's
Yeah, you gotta get it together. Go ahead.
It doesn't make sense.
No, because I can understand what he's saying, but here's the thing.
Go ahead.
So, for example, if you have an iPhone X, the modern thing is the iPhone XS. Because that is the new updated version of the
Oh, that's the
iPhone.
current one.
Right, that would
That's
be the
the
current,
current one.
Right. So that also,
The whole thing is modern, but the current one.
All right, but that's still doesn't make sense.
But here's the thing.
Go ahead.
Mine is still modern because the only thing that changes is the body, not the actual technology.
I think iPhone people
Exactly.
I think iPhone people beg to differ, but I agree with you.
No, he's saying it's a smartphone.
It's still a smartphone.
It's
So
just not the
like-
most current smartphone.
Right.
So,
But it's not a fucking dial-up phone.
But you know what? Because it's
So
not
it's
the
modern.
same modern technology.
The telephone is modern. Your cell phone is current technology. You don't use the same
So
thing.
what? We live in the current art era.
That's what I'm going to.
But now you're trying to make up your own era.
That's what.
But
that's
why
what
don't you-
every era, every movement is that.
Okay,
Is
that is the.
Wait, time out. Who defines what modern art is?
I do, motherfucker. Nah,
You do.
everybody does.
Everybody does.
Right.
No, just the words do. Modern art.
When you look up
Modern is now.
A whole
modern
bunch of
is now.
whole bunch of other artists and other.
But
other
is
art
it- is
critics.
The younger you are, the more modern
But wait,
you are.
isn't saying current art era? Wouldn't it be like the current era? Wouldn't you be saying the same
So-
fucking word? Just like the same thing.
You know what I say, Kadino? The younger you are, the more modern you are.
Pretty much.
A baby.
I can say I
They're
can,
even
I can
more
agree
modern.
with that. I can agree with that. Let me ask you this: Did who's your favorite old artist from whenever any point in time? Anyone?
I'm gonna tell you right now.
Kadeem?
Mine would probably be.
It's a toss up. It's a tie between
yeah.
Dali and Picasso.
Dali Picasso.
Oh, painters. Oh, drop it to artists.
Even any kind
But
of artist.
it's always Hearing for me art wise.
That was the '80s, but.
Well, I can't when we was broke, so we was playing the old.
No,
Sesame
I
Street
feel
shit.
No, but I know these motherfuckers. I didn't know these. I researched.
Yeah.
I didn't know Dali when I was
you think
15.
they were sitting there calling themselves, I'm a modern artist?
Actually, they were the one that turned around with them a lot. I believe.
You think they came up with that term?
No,
When it was
that's probably
that scene,
that's
they'd be
probably
like the
media.
modern art scene. They'd be
Yeah,
like the
I mean,
modern-
I don't know. I'm not saying they created it. No,
Right. So the
And?
whole thing is, I'm not going.
He made a point.
No, the point. I'm getting the point.
You know, ran
So the whole
around
point
in a
is,
big ass circle.
the point is, the term itself is something that a whole other group of people that wasn't necessarily the artist came up with the term.
That's how it always is, though.
Like the Renaissance period. The Renaissance artists wasn't calling themselves Renaissance artists. I was just a painter.
I mean, I don't know.
I was just.
I would have to
sculptor.
research that.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
was
know.
just a thing. You was living in that time.
So basically, you saying
but
you
you
don't get
didn't
to-
mark your own period.
I think
It's marked
the
after
Harlem
the fact.
Renaissance. They probably called the Harlem Renaissance during the time, right? I don't
After
know.
the fact. It's always
I have
after
to
the
research
fact.
that. I don't know.
Everything is.
So basically, I get what you're trying
like
to say.
mumble rappers didn't call themselves mumble rappers. Until
Yeah,
other
we
people
kinda
start.
Do they?
They sometimes.
Yeah, they do. They do.
But
They do.
But they didn't start like
But that's because we.
They didn't start it. No,
They didn't start it.
Media started it.
gangster rap. Gangster rappers was calling themselves gangster rappers.
No, they did though.
Nah,
NW
media started that.
Media started it, but they did. They co-signed it.
They co-signed it. They definitely did co-sign. You know, East Coast rap. We was just rapping on the East Coast. The point is,
So you're just saying modern art is just we're going in circles, but you're just saying modern art
We are
is
going in
just a term.
it's a term that people.
Well, are you a modern artist?
No,
Am I a modern artist?
I don't think so.
Why is it not just cut and dry for everybody? Why you don't think so?
Because now,
but you're not.
This is where the nerd stuff come in.
All right.
So you got to think of modern art and styles of art is always based on a time period and the intent or tools you use to create a piece of work.
Right.
Right? It's a combination of all three: time, intent, and materials. So you're definitely a modern artist if your intent to create a piece using, say, keyboard from keys from a piano to create a piece to tell a story of something happening right now. Like, it's usually the intent is probably the heaviest part, right? Like, what do you intend to do when you create this piece?
Yeah.
And do you intend to make people see the work you do differently in this current time, right? That's one of the biggest drivers for like modern art, right? And it's a whole modern art is not just one style; it's a whole lot. The surrealism is in modern art. The cubism is in.
But
modern
why do you
art.
say it sucks? You still think it sucks?
I think it sucks now because it's the same reason why I feel what I feel about mumble rap, right?
Oh, this is gonna lead to it.
You said that. You said this on when you called it.
It's the same. It's the same thing, right? So modern art is important. And all the stuff.
So who is modern? You said I'm not a modern artist. Kadeem's not a modern artist.
I feel like my style is more modern.
My personal thing is that no, y'all. I'm always gonna call you an artist and you're an artist. I'm not gonna say you're a modern.
Who is a
artist.
modern artist?
People from
Just that period.
People from that period that really.
When did it
fit
end?
the-
Who's the last to you? Who's the last of
that I know of?
that you can call modern artists? As
honestly-
Basquiat and a modern artist? Or they considered?
I think around that time of Basquiat and
Aaron?
Herring and
You don't like Basquiat, right?
I personally don't like Basquiat's art style.
You think he's trash?
His art style, I don't think it's trash. I don't think it.
This is gonna be interesting.
It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, because
You don't think what? But finish what?
So you gotta think of what art is storytelling.
You just don't like this shit because you don't make it
Nah,
sound
man,
deep.
there's a lot of people. There's a lot of other people I don't like for the same reasons, right? And this is one of those things about modern art.
He does tell our stories.
Yeah, he does tell stories, right? But it's also like falls in the category. Another person we was talking about the other night. And I don't want to say the name. When you,
nigga.
I don't want to say the name. I don't want that kind of smoke. That's a different kind of smoke today.
okay.
Spiciness off the scene.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'll come to me. Go ahead.
So look at all your art, right? Like we've been sitting in the room looking at your stuff right now. All your joints tell a story.
Do they?
They do.
Yeah.
They all tell a story. You know how elaborate the story is, even Chrissy's stuff too. It all tells a story. When you stop storytelling with your craft, that's when it starts to suck.
So you thought he didn't tell stories?
I don't think he used, and it's nothing to do with like your
Abilities.
It's I'm gonna slap this together, and I'm gonna say this means love.
See, I take it differently because
Yeah.
for me, my whole style really comes from a derivative of his.
Yeah.
Like if you look at
Basquiat?
like the color people, the representative emotion, the expression, capturizing that.
Yeah, but your stuff is way more detailed than work.
But
right?
to me, his was just like it spoke to me as like I don't know directly who that is, but it could come in my head as a young kid, creative, seeing it. It's like I could formulate my own person.
right.
And that's where it's like for me, Basquiat, he's my favorite artist because to me, what I take.
I thought Keith Haring was your favorite.
Him
artist.
and
One or two, yeah.
One and
See,
two.
And this is one of the dope things about modern art. This is actually one of the dope things about modern art. What the best part about modern art, there's no rule or what something's supposed to be once you create it, right? You can be free to say this cup represents a person. You know, you can be free to say those kind of things. That's one of the best parts about modern art. However, if you're not a real storyteller, you can just bullshit your way through it.
But is that
And-
subjective if it's bullshit or not?
It's
feel
always
he was
subjective. You're
storytelling.
right. It's always subjective.
I've always felt like he was a storyteller though. I
can
don't
see
feel like
it
he ever stopped.
As a storyteller, I'm a big fan of Basquiat. I just don't think he executed. It's like every movie you see is not a good movie, but there's a lot of directors out there making movies, a lot of writers writing movies. Just because you could write a book doesn't mean you wrote a good story.
Okay.
Just because you painted a painting doesn't make you a good storyteller. All art is storytelling.
Then I can get this. Then you probably like Herring more because his stories you can
You like
make
Herring?
out, but
I like
it just
Herring.
didn't have the details to where it was like the super details. It was just good enough where the story made sense, and the stories.
We could talk about.
So what do you
Picasso.
like
We can talk
about Herring?
Picasso.
What do you like about Herring that you like more than Basquiat?
Definitely.
Well, she's
like,
definitely more of a pop artist, right?
Oh, yeah.
Herring, yeah.
Herring's
that's
more pop.
That's
right?
pop.
I like Herring more because the stories made more sense when you look at it. Like I could put it together.
That's what I'm saying.
I could look at it and say, oh, I could see what's being portrayed here, right?
Grab that book right there. You see the Keith Herring joint, the white.
I could see. I could look at I could look at now some Basquiat joints I just like because this is just dope.
It just looks dope.
It just looks dope. Like just visually, this is really appealing.
Yeah.
Some
Like
of
the
his
big
joints.
skull.
The Big Skull is one of my favorite joints. He did a couple of things. I don't know all the names of them.
Yeah.
Man, he breaking stuff. He-
Oh, that's right there. I just.
You good, nigga? Don't worry.
I was like. I feel like it's big.
Yeah.
Nah, you good. That's just clean breaking
So
shit. We got a Keith Herring book here on deck that has
Yeah.
a lot of his shit. And we got a fucking 4-long blaze outside. But
welcome to the Bronx.
Yeah.
exactly.
Still burning. Don't let them fool you.
Exactly.
You know what's crazy? I made a painting that was like a mixture of my work and redoing his, and it's like in my room. It's called Ode to Keith.
Okay.
Because I never until I was 24 had like
Keith.
did that shit.
That's pause. I'm just joking. I don't know. Just being silly.
But it was like keep hearing like because when I stopped drawing, his work brought me back
See, yeah.
because he was the first person to make me draw.
So, and this is where this goes right back into the whole modern art thing, right? If you look at people's artwork, and it's in the modern art spectrum, and it doesn't draw you to it in some way, whether it's combination use of colors, whether it's just a story,
Execution.
the combination execution, use the colors, the story that goes with it. If it doesn't draw you in, what is it really doing, right?
Have you ever
modern-
seen shit like this from Keith? Keith Herring?
Yeah, I didn't know. Actually, I didn't know that was Keith Herring.
78.
I didn't know that was his.
But look, this is probably before he even got to that style.
Yeah.
This is 78. He probably was a young teenager and shit.
Yeah, so I seen that before. I didn't know it was his though.
Look, 78.
Uh-huh.
But
But yeah, as you were saying, with the modern art, you see people with the modern art, and it's like maybe not executed and all that stuff.
Yeah, people literally get lazy with technique and concept, and like it's you gotta tell a story. You don't
So-
put a bunch of words in a book and say, hey, here's a story because I put a bunch of
So
words
then, when
in
you
here.
say the whole thing about current era, do you feel like that's the fine tuning of the pop art, modern art, and then with the execution, do you feel you see that?
I think modern started transitioning into current with graffiti art.
Gotcha, how it would be statements or representation.
Right. That's why I think the switch started happening because like graffiti art, y'all know graffiti art wasn't always considered even art.
No.
Why? Why
because
was,
it's urban.
why was graffiti art never considered?
Because it's from us, blacks, and
But we
the
look at Picasso, who I think is a dope artist, but not for the same reasons why it's different. But why can Keith Haring be considered a dope artist and ahead of his time? And you name all of the train graffiti that we used to see back in the day, the whole big pieces on trains. Why wasn't those considered great pieces of work
I remember
in the
when I was-
modern time?
Exactly.
Why
When I was a
wasn't that a
kid,
thing?
Falling in love with art, I love to go by 5 points.
See, yeah.
Bro, all that graffiti. Because to me, I didn't know graffiti.
That's in Brooklyn?
was.
Right.
No, that's
It's
Queens.
Oh, Queen.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I know
Long
you're
Island
talking
City,
about.
yeah, yeah.
Long Island City, and it was like to me, graffiti was like it was bigger art. Like it made me want to do walls. It made me want to do murals because it was like if I could fine tune my
That's
work.
inspirational.
Yeah.
That make you want to be like, yo, either watch someone do it or try it yourself. That's any good story is supposed to do that. Like you're supposed to get immersed into this whole thing. You might not know nothing about this movie you're about to watch, but just the preview of it might, yo, let me go check out this whole thing. So modern art got away from drawing people in and started this exclusive clubs where if you're not just doing these special dots and making those simplest thing mean the most elaborate thing, then are you a good artist?
So you see it as kind of like almost a division in that art world.
The division, the hierarchy of, curators, museums, and critics and buyers and the sorts, right? Those people are telling you and me and everybody else, I'm an urban artist.
Yeah.
Why? I might be from Wyoming, but because I'm black,
You're urban.
I'm an urban artist, right?
So that's code word now.
So I like this is my biggest beef about being the label of a modern art. Time period, work intent, all that stuff aside, we don't have control over what we call our art.
Yeah.
We don't have enough. We have the authority and power, but we don't own up to it when it comes to like what I call my art. Remember when Lauryn Hill? Remember when the Fugees got the Grammy?
Yeah.
What did he get the Grammy for?
What was it?
It was album of the year. What category?
Hip hop?
R&B.
R&B.
Is that an R&B album?
No. But it has R&B infused with it.
Right.
But it's
not
a hip hop album.
Yeah, it's a hip hop album.
It's a hip hop album. Why did they get? They took it because it's
Yeah,
an
of course.
award.
Right,
but even they spoke out against it. Like, this is a hip hop album.
Yeah.
It was built this way.
So it's like-
it was built.
But to be
this
fair,
way.
did Lauren sing and just take it over the top? That did it kind of make it both?
No, but
Nah.
like they didn't recognize hip hop.
But no, but you say nah, but think about it. Like,
Nah,
it was
I
some
think
good
about it.
singing on that shit.
I get what
he's
he's thought
saying,
about it.
But I get what he's saying in regards to art because it's then saying like we're kind of like the hip hop of that time. It's
Yeah.
like us as artists in our world, we are the early hip hop stages.
That's right.
Of our time.
Killing Me Softly was R&B-ish.
The song by itself.
Yeah.
The song, the single, the video.
I'm gonna partially agree with you. I'm gonna be on the fence about it, right?
I mean, it's a hip hop album, yes, but
it's a hip hop genre.
Lauren does make it R&B.
Yeah.
but
she was rapping.
Lauren uses R&B.
Fuji Live.
R&B. She uses R&B. So we talk about like with art. We talk about techniques, right? Mm-hmm. Like when you mix your paint, there's the different ways to like. There's scrubbing. There's blend. There's different types of blending.
Right.
There's like cross hatches. Different types
Scrubbing. I don't mean doing that.
It's almost sounds like what is. It sounds like almost what it is, right?
I hate
There's
it.
different ways to blend the paint on a canvas, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's no one
Way.
way or right way or wrong way. It's just a way to do it.
Yeah.
So Lauren's way to blend in singing into hip hop, she's using the old style and the new style to make a current piece.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
And that's what the whole Fugees album was. It
Yeah.
was a lot of old school rigorous technique. Like Wyclef, he played instruments like actual physical instruments. He ain't always used. It wasn't always a beat machine. There was a lot of traditional elements to make a current piece.
Yeah.
Right. So right now, that's what I'm gonna say. The same thing about you. I'm gonna say the same thing about you. And most people creating work right now was use the elements, traditional elements, to make a current piece. And I'm gonna keep saying I'm not a modern artist because I didn't call myself that. I didn't enter the modern art competitions. I didn't say I didn't say that.
Yeah.
But other people will categorize as that. Other people will do it.
I'm not gonna lie, he's made a lot of sense to me.
So what? He converted you, nigga?
I ain't gonna say he converted me, but when I think about it, like when you break it down, like the scene part of how we are seen as urban artists, that's never was a term that was really used until we came around being self-taught and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It does make a separation of an era where it's like, okay, now we gotta get our respect and rights up to where it's like that. So I can understand what he means by it's not modern. I still agree with the terms and definition, modern.
His
but-
nigga he felt confident like he converted you.
No, he ain't converted. It's not about conversion. It's about more of a like understand where I'm coming from. Cause you can still stand.
I am a modern artist. Fuck to me.
Rob hates to lose. It's alright though.
I'm a modern artist.
But
You're a modern artist.
that's really my
Real
whole
quick
take on
to
it.
wrap up this real quick. Like out of the legends that we love. Even though we of course we always want to be original, but we can't help but be influenced by the greats.
Yes, it's something.
Who would you
for.
say your style is a mashup? If it's either two legends, three, could just be one. Who would you say your style has influenced your painting style? I know mine's. I'll go first. You could think about it. I say my art is a mashup. I always say my art is like, I would say two. I'll say three. I would say, you know what? I'm actually gonna say four.
Okay.
A four-headed. I might have said this in this podcast, but I'm saying it again. It's a four-headed monster. Actually, I usually we might have been talking hip hop.
Yeah.
So here's another four-headed monster.
All right.
I think my style. I always say if I had to pick two, my style is Keith Haring and Picasso had a baby.
Yeah.
But I would actually say my four-headed monster is Keith Haring, Picasso, Basquiat, believe it or not,
I can see that.
and Dali. Because Dali shit is very
I see all
surreal.
that.
I can see that.
So like, look at these. Like nobody can see this right now, but those paintings. There's a lot of Dali inspiration.
Yeah. I can definitely see
With
that.
things coming out of other things, but
That's
still
surrealism. That's
all
called
done.
surrealism, sir.
But exactly, no, it is. So I said surrealism. I said surrealism. Yeah. I want your fucking doctorates from Mary Gibbs. What is it? So quick, who you gonna mash up? Your
I
art.
think mine is. It's weird because one of them I don't know how, but I feel it's Basquiat. I feel mine would be Dali. It's four: Dali, Keith Haring, and I would think Warhol because I do have an illustration style in my work.
How about you?
I would say a combination of old school Da Vinci, Michelangelo, and
Michelangelo, that nigga. But you right.
He does.
You do.
And,
I'm just gonna make jokes.
Yeah.
and a few different comic book artists.
Okay.
That's
McFarlane was my favorite.
Yeah, he was dope. But yeah, he was definitely dope. His Spawn joints was dope. I can't think of his name right now, but he was an old school artist that did Jack Kirby.
Oh, nice.
So he did old school Thor and Ragnarok stuff. Anyway, I would take the old school approach from like the old quote unquote masters as far as like way to execute, and then I want to execute a more current style
Right.
with those tools in mind.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, right?
Gotcha. Yeah.
So I want to take, the skill and work that it takes to build this, but apply it on, say, a comic book today.
Right.
Okay.
That's it. That's the way I approach a lot of my stuff.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So I want to get into some other shit,
Okay.
but I think that's good for them for right now. I think they
Right.
can hold on and get the other shit.
bit.
We're gonna wrap it up. I think we're gonna give them a part 2 of this.
Of course.
You ready for a part 2? You good?
I'm ready.
Can you talk anymore?
I'm good. I had coffee and everything.
Okay. All right. That's good.
This nigga got steroids in that. All right, y'all. One.
HDH.
Yo, but you can follow us on Fantasy in Color NYC, the podcast Fantasy in Color podcast on Instagram. My Instagram is Rob Ayala _.
Mine's is Life of Dean.